Hello everyone, welcome to Games Up. Myself is Kavipriya and this is Sherina. Today CMG பண்ண போறாங்க thermodynamics என்ன டாபிக்னா ideal gas equation and representation of process on PV graph.
So ideal gas equation, in ideal gas equation we can see there are 5 processes taking place. First one is isothermal, then isobaric, isochoric, adiabatic and polytropic process. So firstly we will be seeing about isothermal process. In isothermal process, as we know, temperature remains constant and P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. From this, what we infer is PV is constant. So the basic formula is PV power K is equal to constant. From this, in every equation we will be inferring what is the value of K. So the value of K for isothermal process, because PV is constant, is 1. So second one is isobaric process. In isobaric process, the volume remains constant. When volume remains constant, we take the pressure remains constant in isobaric process. So V1 by V2 is equal to T1 by T2. So this is a formula in isobaric process. From this, V by T is equal to constant, and from this the value of K that we infer is 0. For isobaric process, the value of K will be 0. Now nextly, when we go to isochoric process, in isochoric process volume will be constant. When volume is constant, P1 by P2 is equal to T1 by T2. This is the formula, and from this P by T is equal to constant. From this the value of K will be infinity. For isochoric process, the value of K is infinity. And the fourth process is adiabatic process. For adiabatic process, T2 by T1 is equal to V2 by V1 the whole of gamma minus 1 by gamma, which is equal to P1 by P2 of gamma minus 1. So this is a big formula, but still it is easy to remember. The first two will be put, T2 will come first in the numerator and T1 will be in the denominator for temperature and volume, and for pressure the numerator will be 1 and the denominator it will be P2. From this PV power gamma is equal to constant. This is what we infer from here, and the value of K is equal to gamma. So the last process is polytropic process. From polytropic process, what we get is, the formula we get is T2 by T1 is equal to V2 by V1 above n minus 1 by n, which is equal to P1 by P2 above n minus 1. So from this, the difference between this and this is that instead of gamma we put n for polytropic process. Now here PV power n is equal to constant and the value of K is n. So these are the processes in ideal gas equation, and these are the formulas, and these are the values of K. And now about the representation of process on PV graph. The value of K here, we have calculated everything. K is 1 for isothermal, K is 0 for isobaric, K is infinity for isochoric, K is gamma for adiabatic, and for polytropic K is n. So from that we will be drawing a PV graph. Pressure is in y axis and volume is in x axis. So for constant volume process, that is isochoric process, since it is constant volume we draw a straight line. For constant volume process, we know K is infinity, so K is equal to infinity. And the second one, constant pressure process, is isobaric, so we draw a horizontal line, straight line. And for isobaric process, K is 0. So we note that K is 0. Next, when we draw about isothermal process, the first line in the graph here is isothermal process. For isothermal process, K is equal to 1, and next one is adiabatic process. For adiabatic process, K is equal to gamma, and for polytropic process, K is equal to N. So in the same way, here isothermal process comes first, K is equal to 1. Second one is adiabatic process, K is equal to gamma, and the last one is polytropic process, that is K is equal to N. So these are all the processes that we have marked in this PV graph, and here in this quadrant expansion takes place, and in this quadrant compression takes place. So here it is heat rejection, that is in K is equal to 0, that line there is heat rejection, and in the line of K is equal to infinity to, it is heat rejection downwards, and upwards it is heat supplied. Here too it is heat supplied. So this is a total graph of the representation of process, all the process, that is isothermal, isobaric, isochoric, adiabatic and polytropic process in this PV graph.
Okay, இந்த வீடியோல ஐடியல் கேஸ் ஈக்குவேஷன் அண்ட் ரெப்ரசன்டேஷன் ஆஃப் ப்ராசஸ் ஆன் பிவி கிராஃப் எப்படி பண்ணுறது, எப்படி ஈக்குவேஷன்ஸ் ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கிறது, எப்படி இந்த பிவி கிராஃபை வரைகிறதுன்றது எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணாங்க ஷெரினா. இது அழகாக எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ண ஷெரினா, தேங்க்ஸ்.
தேங்க்யூ.